3, 2, 1, sync. Boats.
Suck Squad podcast number 47.
Yeah, motherfucker. Here we are.
Here we are.
And not bevved up this time.
Not bevved up. That happened last night.
Shh. Don't ruin the movie magic.
Sorry. That other time where we did a podcast that totally wasn't yesterday.
This has got to be like the most short time between consecutive podcasts.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
But it's just the two of us today. Just Ariel on my far internet. And myself, Alan.
Yes. Hello, I'm Ariel.
Yes, you are.
I think you fucking confused me there.
Did I?
I didn't realise you'd do the intro.
Oh, well, I did. I took the initiative.
Dude, mate, that's so good. So good.
So good.
Well, we're going to have
that's a really shit brand of soy milk, I'm pretty sure.
What is?
Like, so good.
So good?
So good, I think.
Yeah, no, that's right. So good.
Yeah.
I swear they used to advertise that on Channel 7 during Better Homes and Gardens.
Yeah, I think they did. So there was So Good, which was the shitty brand with a bigger image, and then it was Vitasoy, which actually tasted alright.
Oh, okay. I never have soy milk other than Up and Go.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
I don't know. People apparently don't like soy milk.
Oh, it's not as tasty, but you get used to it after a while. For a brief period, I went dairy free, and so I had to. But would not recommend with cereal. I'll just put that out there. Good with hot chocolate though.
All right. Yeah. I don't know. I didn't mind the taste. I almost liked it.
Yeah.
Maybe just because I associated it with chocolate milk.
Oh yeah.
Because I've never had soy milk by itself.
Yeah, fair enough. So soy milk.
How the fuck did we just talk about that for 2 minutes?
I don't know. Ariel texted me this morning, right? And he said, "Hey man, you want to do a more serious podcast this afternoon? Because the one last night was a bit all over the place." And I'm like, yeah, sure. And now we're talking about fucking soy milk.
Well, I mean, there's the extra S. So it's Sock Squad Serious Soy Milk Podcast.
I love it. But we did want to talk about more serious stuff today because there's it's been the biggest week in Australian politics of the year besides election years, which is budget week.
Yes. And you, as we said in the last podcast, you actually went up to Canberra to
for
go
the
and
budget reply speech. Didn't get up for the budget speech, unfortunately. But
right.
Yeah. So, do you wanna? You watched the actual budget speech more recently than I did. Do you want to go over some points?
I fucking don't remember. Surprisingly, I wasn't too opposed to what he said. Basically, they were saying that they're I think the biggest points is mainly that they've gotten rid of their carbon tax and the mining tax, and they're interested in investing in small business with the idea that the small businesses should be spending more and hiring people more early, which is pretty good. They also want to increase spending in youth work younger people getting into jobs, which again, that seems reasonable.
Yeah, and so they got rid of the having to wait for 6 months for a new start.
Down to 4 weeks now. Yeah, which is that's interesting. Fair enough.
Yeah, still too much, I think. But
probably, yeah. I don't remember what else really they were big for them. They did talk about changing up the way the pension worked or super.
Yeah, well, they talked about not taxing super, which has been, and in the reply, Bill Shorten says that was one of the savings measures that will be put in place in a Labor budget.
What, to tax the
higher end superannuation incomes, which makes
higher end.
Yeah, higher end.
Yeah.
So it means tested, obviously, which makes a lot of sense. I mean,
well, it does, yeah.
Joe Hockey has quite prolifically told Bill Shorten that you can't tax a nation into prosperity, but you can tax it into a decent wealth distribution. Which,
for fuck's sake. Well, and this comes back to what I think it was Bill Clinton said very recently, that you can't just like grow any sort of economy just by like letting like one part of it keep on developing. You need to grow the whole thing.
Yeah.
And so yeah, as I said, like you need a better wealth distribution for that to happen. Otherwise, you really like you end up like America and have this really ingrained lower class.
Yeah, really shitty trickle down economics, which doesn't work.
So that's freaking stupid. But like, did they want to did the budget also want to do something with the pension? Were they going to change that?
Yeah, so there were some changes to the pension. I don't recall exactly what they were. I imagine I think it's cuts to higher end pension receivers, I think.
Oh. Well, I mean that's all right.
Yeah, it makes sense.
I seem to recall though, like Shorten was saying it was an attack on people. Like, but I don't understand if that only. I don't understand that if that only applies to the high-end pensioners.
Oh, because of course Bill Shorten's going to call it an attack on people. Like, there's no way. Like, like I'm quite Labour. I think Ariel leans to the left probably.
Oh, it's like for me, I try to rationalize it as just lesser of two evils. They're just ideologically, Labour is better. You know, you can't have the more conservative of the two conservative groups.
Yeah, so that's where we're coming from, to be fair. But yeah, in all fairness, Bill Shorten's speech there's no way like that was completely accurate either. And that.
Oh no.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Of course, he's going to call Joe Hockey out on every single fucking thing that he did, and of course, Bill Shorten cherry picked the small business thing to show that. And then he decided he would outdo Joe Hockey and make tax cuts of up to 25% on small business, which makes no... look, I get trying to grow small business, but 25%, fucking hell.
Where was it? Where was it? Oh, was it... Hang on, isn't it normally like 30-something%?
As in cutting it a further 25%.
From... Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what the Guardian was reporting. I was at the speech, but to me it sounded like 5%, but...
I think... Well, see, because you've got two different things here. Because, like, 25% of, say, like, 20% is 5%.
Yeah.
So, like, he may be cutting 5%... he might be cutting 5% out of the total, like, tax. Or they're taking 25% off of whatever they were taxing.
Yeah.
So that's fucking deceptive.
But either way, it's like we're going to do even more than the coalition, which I think they need to be very careful, because with the 20,000, you know, the $20,000 tax write-off that you can you can do that's not like a single purchase. That can happen multiple times. So a small business, so any business under $2 million revenue.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you can buy a fleet of under $20,000 cars and write it all off on tax.
Really?
Which is like...
Wait, actually write that off on tax?
Yeah.
Like, the government pays for it?
Oh, I'm not sure if it's like that, but, so...
Oh, no, I think it's tax deductible.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. So, you know, on your tax return, that doesn't count as taxable income.
So...
Or the money you've spent. I know there's probably some smart guy listening who knows more about this, but... Yeah. I know that's what can occur, is you can make a bunch of purchases and then it's not taxable, the money you spend on those purchases.
The income.
Yeah, so you can deduct those purchases from your revenue so you don't have to pay tax on them. Which,
yeah.
I don't know, surely that should only apply to like small businesses. And
I don't know, like, really, if you look at it, like 2 million probably isn't a whole heap for a lot of small businesses.
Yeah, I'm sure. Like, yeah.
I mean, what kind of businesses do you reckon they're talking about? Because
I don't know. It's anything from like a milk bar to, I don't know,
like a medium-sized supermarket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so that happened, and then Bill Shorten said Labour would go even further, and I'm not too sure about that, but it sounded pretty good. So he said So with the reply, I thought it was quite a good speech. So You had your doubts at the start, you were saying?
Just at the start, because I felt like he went so much into like just rhetoric in at the start, which I don't know, it that just seemed a little fluffy to me. And I would have preferred for him to really get down to the meat, because honestly, like, really, if you would prefer respect in there, this is why, like, I like Joe Hockey's speech just as a speech better, because I don't know, he spoke it better, and he generally got to the point faster.
Yeah.
I felt, and you know, again, like, when you look at it a little more closely, then like much more criticism can arise. But I don't know, just like the first few minutes, of where he's just saying, you know, that I can't remember exactly what he was saying, but I just didn't really like how he was approaching it at the start. Afterwards, it was fine. You're like, but yeah, but that's really just really criticizing it as a speech, not as an actual
totally.
approach to the budget.
As a thing of persuasion, you didn't find it as compelling. I don't know.
No.
I'm like so biased, so I was like and like the method of delivery for me was completely different because I was actually there, which just makes it more compelling in and of itself, right?
Absolutely.
And it was gotta tell you, apart from all like the policy and planning, it was so awesome having Bronwyn Bishop, who's the Speaker of the House and notoriously incredibly biased. She's kicked so many Labor MPs out, like more than any other speaker. She's kicked so many Labor MPs out of the House.
Yeah.
But so Bill came out and we all cheered. We had some Liberal students behind us who weren't too happy. That was fun. And he was like waving. It was all fun. And then Tony turned around and waved, and it was really fucking weird. He had this like half manufactured grin on his face as he moved,
I know the one.
moved his hand slowly from the left to the right, as if any more or any less of a measured hand wave would be beneath him. And it was so weird having like these teenage girls from high school behind us being like, "Oh my god, Tony, what the fuck?" I think I mentioned it last night.
Yeah.
That
is so strange.
Yeah, that was odd. But after we all cheered, Bronwyn leaned in and she was like, "I would like to remind the galleries that that we show this speech and this chamber the same respect that was showed 2 nights ago when Joe Hockey presented his budget speech, and then we just didn't care, and it was fantastic."
So that was you?
Yeah, that was,
because I was watching through and she kept on like telling you guys to shut up.
Yeah, she did, and no one cared, and it was fantastic, and she just kind of gave up after a while, and it was great.
That's so good. Yeah, I just remember like, "I like to remind you to leave the applause until the end."
Yeah, it was something like that.
That's great. That's so good.
Yeah.
One thing that I found surprising was there was very little mention of the environment.
Yeah, that was interesting, right?
Yeah, like there was so little, and really the only mention we got was just the cut of the carbon tax.
Yeah, well, and I think maybe I read this and I'm just like in my head I'm putting it in shortened speech, but I think he mentioned a drop in renewable investment.
Really?
Maybe, although
I don't think he would have said anything about that.
I'm just thinking about that. That's been part of the Labor rhetoric in their anti-budget campaign. And
so wait, as in Labor wants to reduce spending into renewable resources?
No, I want to increase spending.
Oh,
like there's no investment at the moment because of doubts about the renewable energy target. At least that's the reason it's been going around.
Yeah. Are we still one of the only countries that hasn't like signed like the Kyoto Protocol or something?
Yeah, we can't agree on a renewable energy target because Labor's wants it to. Labor and like the Greens, they want it to be, or not Labor and the Greens, Labor and like a climate authority who I can't remember their actual name. They've agreed to a certain, I think it's like 37,000 somethings reduction a year or something like that. This number that's high. Well, that's higher than the Liberals' number, but it's only like 1,000 units of whatever this is that's separating them, and they can't agree to meet in the middle, which means we just don't have a renewable energy target.
That's fucking stupid.
I know, it's like, fuck. But it means...
Just before we keep going, Can you hear me properly?
Yes, I can.
It's all good. I noticed my audio waves are really tiny, but they're there. Okay, all good, sorry.
No, I think I finished that thought, but... Yeah.
Yeah. So I was a little disappointed that there was very little mention of it other than the carbon tax, which, to be honest, I think the carbon tax, while like it's a step in the right direction, it feels like a half-assed approach. Like they're just, all right, we're supposed to be, sustainable with our future, so we'll just tax it instead. Like I would love to see something more active.
Yeah. So what would you like?
Well, I guess the actual spending into the renewable sector, but I mean, for fuck's sake, nuclear power.
Yeah. So like public money, like actually having government owned like renewable sources.
Yeah. Like
okay.
Why not? I don't know, like more wind farms or like I would. To be honest, I'd like to see more consideration of nuclear.
Yeah. It's nuclear.
Nuclear. I can't fucking pronounce it.
Because
on that though, I did see recently that someone was saying that there's it was a TED talk or something. They were saying about nuclear power that it's it's to do with Tesla's new house battery. Yeah,
I've been seeing a bit about that,
which is really cool. Saying that they want it's like the final nail in the coffin for nuclear, which. Did I pronounce it wrong again?
I don't care, dude. Just keep going.
The people care.
The people.
The people give a shit. But it's interesting because what they're saying is that having this like battery in every house, which is supposed to be, I guess it's supposed to be really super efficient and won't degrade and can store large amounts of energy, is designed so that you can maintain baseload energy by receiving as much solar power as possible or wind power. However, I don't know. My doubts fall there with the fact that solar power and wind power are barely at like 50% efficiency.
Yeah.
Of the energy.
Isn't Costa Rica running 100% off renewables at the moment? I know it's a tiny country, but
yeah, I did see something about that.
I think it was Waleed Ali's. I probably mispronounced his name, but on the project, he did a segment, and that went viral on the internet. So.
It's crazy. Like it's good. I'm just to be honest, I'm just more interested in like backing off from coal power.
Yeah.
Which is stupid. Which ties back nicely. Is that he's fuck, I can't remember his name. Joe Hockey. He seemed so adamant that we've got to tap into all these resources we have and like open up all these trade routes and open Australia up for trade and stuff. Yeah. I don't like this idea of that we have resources to spare, when I think this country really all that we have, which is actually some sort of future-proof resource, is uranium and iron. Like seriously, coal is not exactly some natural resource or wood that we should be, constantly trying to export.
Yeah.
Even agricultural, I mean, like that's fucking stupid. I don't know why there's some sort of like international agricultural trade.
Why do you say that?
Well, okay, I'm not some like economist, so I can't really judge whether or not it's actually sustainable or like environmentally sustainable. But at least from an efficiency standpoint, I think it's silly that we should be transporting livestock overseas now. That surely countries are able to actually be self-sustainable in at least that.
Yeah, but that doesn't make businesses here money. So we have an abundance of beef, like beef being one of Australia's biggest agricultural industries.
Yeah.
Industries, as I slur my words. So
you're on the piss again, mate.
Yeah, totally. No, it's not quite that late in the day yet. But, yeah. So, and we're good at it. We're good at beef. It's what we do. Just like we.
It's so true, though.
Yeah, it is. And so, and other countries aren't good at beef. So we say, okay, rather than you putting your money into getting good at beef. You just pay us, and we give you our beef. And that's- So in that sense, it's almost more efficient.
Well, economically, yeah. I'm like, but I've always had this thought, like, we use so much energy transporting things,
Yeah, we do.
right? That I wonder if it would actually be possible to do it in other countries if the infrastructure and the expertise were there. I'm sure it's not. I'm sure it's not wholly geographically dependent.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. And from a I don't know, from any sort of rational perspective, you would just say, okay, I don't know, pick New Zealand. Why don't you just have like lots of cows and make your own beef instead? And I'm sure there's lots of arguments like New Zealand doesn't have enough land to do all that sort of stuff. But let's presume that they did. Then that would be great. But the thing is, that doesn't make us money.
Yeah.
And so we're not going to do that.
Of course, yeah.
'Cause
well, I mean, like that's the thing. Like, as soon as you open up to a world market and your domestic cost, your domestic selling price or your domestic equilibrium is below the the international trading price, like fucking, of course you're going to go for it.
You know what's fascinating? The Chinese company has set up or bought, one or the other, a big dairy farm in Australia, and they export the milk. So they bottle the milk here because bottling it here is very important apparently, and then they export it to China and sell it for $8 a bottle.
Really? Like $8 Australian dollars?
$8
Jeez.
Because over there, if it says it's bottled in Australia, and it's Australian milk, then it's really valuable because I'm guessing they don't have the Asian region being traditionally not having any dairy at all. It's and yet Coles and Woolies will pay them like $1, even less. Per bottle of milk. So it's really interesting. And in that sense, you'd think they would just start giving all their milk to China, and competition should dictate that Coles and Woolies have to start paying them more for the milk, and then we start paying more for our milk as consumers. That's which we should be. It's so fucking cheap. It's ridiculous. It's really dumb and unsustainable. But
well, I mean, that's the same thing with meat. Like, I working in a supermarket, I understand meat is pretty freaking expensive when I sell it, but like, damn, I swear, like almost every transaction I did today while working would have like on average a kilogram of meat in it, and like that's a thing. Like, a kilogram of meat is gonna feed like a family of 4 for like 2 days or something. It's not like it doesn't go very far.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering that is it not only that we should be producing, say, our meats more locally, but we should also not be eating as much of it. Trying to, like, I don't know, vary out diets, because I know I don't eat enough vegetables. Like, there isn't vegetables in my diet every day, but meat is.
Yeah. It's interesting.
And poultry as well. Like, not poultry, but like meat is in my diet every day, and usually beef. Like,
really,
surprisingly enough, yeah.
So much.
It's almost
beef.
always beef. Yeah, beef or chicken. But it's again, I'm not like, you know, gonna go all like about touting a vegetarian diet because of the ethics or anything. But like, from a broader ethical perspective, instead of just like where we get our meat from, like I honestly think that like farming animals is not really the way of the future for the whole species.
Well, I don't know.
Like,
I think it's pretty hard to dispute the fact that eating vegetarian is more ethical than not. Like, it's pretty difficult to say otherwise. I mean, I'm not a vegetarian. It's just one of my... I just kind of accept it as one of my vices at this point in time. But.
Yeah. And it's more that, like, because... I mean, we don't have, and we probably never will have, a complete understanding of exactly what's required for the human body. And really, we probably don't need to. But, like, I would say that there's a strong possibility that because meat has traditionally been part of a human diet for a very long time, like, there's still a place for it for us to eat it. But like apparently, nutritionalists might only or some, human biologists might eat meat like only once every like 40 days or something. They do it because there is a need to, but like, we should be reducing that intake.
I'm pretty sure, like, in this day and age, you can eat vegetarian and just take supplements and you're fine.
Yeah.
But, yeah, but, like, for a lot of, like, broader arguments come in, like eating vegetarian and then having supplements is a lot more expensive than just eating your meat and veg.
Yeah, yeah.
So, not always viable for all people. But anyway, we got talking about vegetarians for some reason.
Oh no! Well, I guess this just comes back to the idea that is it economical for humans to be like? Well, is it really that great that we've got all of these resources that we're exporting around the world? Is it so important, and should we be reliant on it? Because I honestly feel like, especially since the iron ore prices dropped, which is pretty bad for our industries apparently. Like, what resource that we export currently should we be expecting to have returns on for the foreseeable future? And like, I mean, thanks to like, and no, now this is something I remember, like that Joe Hockey was saying that we're not exploiting countries, newly developing countries like India, right? And the problem with India is that in regards to energy, is that now that they're developing, their need for energy is increasing dramatically, and they don't have the kind of regulations that a lot more developed countries like we have, and they've got a much larger population, close to 1 billion. So they're just making coal plants, and like, can you imagine what's going to happen when we start exporting coal to them? Like, we're suddenly just going to be back onto like saying that coal is the future of our country.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, putting on my economic neoclassical rationalist hat for a second, though I am not one, they would argue that so with globalization, like, largely opening up markets can only be a good thing, because let's say the French are really good at making cheese, then they're really good at making cheeseness will make them dominant in the marketplace and export to others, and they'll get more money. And everyone that, like, there'll be an optimization of goods, so now everyone's eating French quality cheese because lower quality cheese can't compete. And everyone's burning Australian coal because lower quality coal can't compete, or whatever it may be.
Well, it kind of the other way around, because like, we export brown coal.
Yeah, well,
we have a shit ton of brown coal in Australia, which is the shit stuff.
Yeah, well, I'm just being hypothetical. But,
no, you're right, you're right.
So an optimization of goods and an optimization of prices is all that can happen from globalization. But on the other end of things, there's also exploitation of workers, difference in regulation between markets. So in a globalized market, you need to have the same regulation everywhere, but that's just not the case.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's bad.
Also, you have to consider externalities, which, like, that's a huge thing, and possibly, I guess, like, when you really consider the way that politics views economics, I feel is one of the most least regarded things. They don't see externalities in the long term. They really just see it as the short term for what it does to, their vote, their electorate, basically.
Yeah, not that you're cynical or anything.
Sorry?
Not that you're cynical or anything.
Yeah, right. Like, I guess they just see, like, really, like, if you imagine how they want to view whether or not they should be doing these, I feel like there's so much just, like, they think about economics as just money, when really, like, economics is welfare of people, and it has to be considered into the distant future. So, I don't know, like, again, like, it's not like we're feeling the heat of any sort of global warming or like we're running out of any sort of resource. There's a lot of political issues that say that are causing things like oil prices to rise. I don't know where coal sits, to be honest, but like it all to me just like feels like it comes back to the argument that we shouldn't be relying on the fossil fuel.
Yeah.
Like it's like, well, I mean, and it's such a repeated argument that we should stop using it and really do it soon, because we're so reliant on it. But
Yeah.
fuck, where was I going with that? Man, I'm just getting so left.
So left. The left isn't right.
Yeah. But like also with globalization, the thing is that we've seen with that is that globalization is also a reciprocating effect. It like, because of globalization, countries will start to or like certain places will start to specialize more in things. Which I don't know, like, again, this is something which I guess that, like, more people need to talk about. Like, I'd love to see more experts talk about this. Is the idea is it going to be more efficient in the future for places to just specialize in production? And maybe, actually what I guess probably would solve this is if we had some sort of sustainable energy source to transport this stuff.
Yeah. I mean,
Like-
if you think about it, like, so globalization is just making, like, the whole world, in theory, just one kind of geographic trade location.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
if you imagine, like a city where all, like, the finance people do their financial stuff, and then suburbs where there's lots of manufacturing and that sort of thing, and then
Yeah.
your rural areas where there's lots of agriculture and farming.
Hang on, let me get out my business like notes. I study this.
Oh, ooh. You probably hit me into the ground. But yeah, like, so we already we don't have a farm and a factory and a venture capital firm all next to each other in one location. Like, we already specialize in that sense by making optimal use of the resources available to us. So
Yeah.
with globalization, what should happen is everyone just becomes really efficient, and where things, because of competition, because everyone's like a self-interested, rational person, and so everyone wants to turn a profit, so everyone's as efficient as they can be, so they can outdo the competition, and so everything becomes optimized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is making all the assumptions of
Yes.
all the economic assumptions of a perfectly competitive market.
Yes, economic rationalism, folks, or
assume-
neoclassical economics if you're not from Australia.
Yeah. Instead, what we end up getting is a monopolistic competition.
Yep.
In some, well, I guess you can't actually like globally apply it. Like in the end, you get like mixes of everything everywhere. Like, it's not like we have, like domestically, or in close geographical regions, or in similar industries, you'll have oligopolies and and monopolies going on. But yeah, like, I guess probably overall, in reality, we probably have just a normal competitive market across the world.
Yeah, but we don't have a normally competitive market, because rationalist assumptions, like having perfect normal competition, that's just what happens. That's natural. Well, naturally we construct markets and we constrain them and we free them in different ways. And
Yeah.
so really and things happen. People don't make the right decisions sometimes. Like the GFC, that isn't... Well, I don't believe it's explainable by, that's just how markets work. Occasionally they crash. It was,
No,
hey,
absolutely not.
a bunch of people made mistakes because they're humans and they do that. And so things happen that aren't dictated by perfect competition.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so really, economic rationalism doesn't make sense, because we're not all perfectly rational. And most of the time, well, I would argue that most of the time we don't make the optimal decision because we're not able to perfectly calculate what's going to happen in the future.
No, that's right.
And we're social creatures. We're not just autonomous rational units just trying to maximize profits. We do things for different reasons.
Alan, you're undermining my studies.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're
study
ruining
business.
my...
Yeah.
I've got an economics subject which is
Yeah.
all about this, and I have to make the fucking assumption people are rational.
Yeah. Well, that's like the foundation of all economic theory. Well, all
Yeah.
economic theory post 1970. But
Yeah. I don't know. You could apply it, but no, I understand it.
Yeah.
It's not. But what I mean is that you'd have of any of those. I feel like competitive market is the most characteristic of what we have.
yeah, yeah.
Albeit it's not right because you've got political systems intervening everywhere, and you've got borders across the whole world, which cause this restrictions and constraints on it. But yeah, it's
Yeah, but like, there's no question that there is supply and demand. There is competition. Well, not there is, but we make it so there is competition. Like, these things are constructed, and we can change them, but that doesn't happen in our parliamentary system because of the naturalization of a neoliberal economy. Alright,
yeah.
I think we solved the world. We're done.
We're not nearly drunk enough to do that, Alan.
Oh, that's true.
We don't fix things until we've had like a six-pack.
Oh, true that. We just complain about things until we do, and then we fix them once we're pissed.
Yep. I mean, dude, you should have been in the car after we went to Crown the other week. You should have come home with James and I.
Yeah. What did you guys talk about?
Well, James Telick wasn't talking as he was driving. He was mainly concentrating.
Yeah.
In his words, Frame and I talked absolute political smack for like an hour on the way home, or 40 minutes because we made a good run. But
What? So
but like, being James, of course he's gonna rip into me. But like, I was just, we were like, James and Frame and I were attempting to have this like some sort of like intellectual conversation about like world politics.
right. What did you solve? What did you
What we solve?
Yeah.
Well, Adam, were we or were we not drinking that night?
We were drinking a little bit.
We were drinking, so obviously we solved everything.
Ah, well done. Right, so I should just disregard all this budget nonsense and wait till you're in power?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Ariel for Prime Minister. 2017?
It depends. It's all up in the air at the moment.
Yeah.
Some ridiculous people are saying that, it'll be called by the end of this year. It's like, holy shit.
What?
No. The
years?
only way that could have possibly happened is if the budget presented this past week went over really well, but in the Senate, all the savings measures were still blocked, meaning the Liberal Party would have cause to say, and they would win if they had another election, so they would call another one because their supply is being blocked, essentially. But that was an extremely unlikely set of circumstances. First of all, just to have people like a Liberal budget. When's that going to happen?
No.
Well, we had people like a budget at all. No one ever likes a budget. Some people occasionally tolerate one, I think.
It's such a shit word.
It is.
I don't like it. It's like it hasn't got any like flair to it. It's a cold and sterile word.
Yeah, well, we all know how much of a warm and jolly person Joe Hockey is. It doesn't suit him.
No, he's very Australian, mate. Did you? I watched him doing like, I think it was the press conference afterwards, and he, at the end he's, they're like finishing up the quest or all the press questions. And he's like, "All right, that's all, guys. See you later."
Yeah, yeah. He could be a mall Santa, don't you think?
A what?
A mall Santa. One of the people who goes
Absolutely.
to a shopping centre and dresses up as Santa.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd sit on...
Were you about to say?
I don't know if I'd sit on Joe Hockey's lap. Nah.
Yeah. What would you like for Christmas, Sonny?
No, but
Wait, tell me what socio-economic status you're from. Socio-economic caste.
Cast.
Yeah. Well, it will be caste.
Oh man. Joe Hockey.
Thankfully.
You know what's fucked though?
Oh.
What's really fucked? And it somehow, I don't know, a lot of people are ignoring it, but the Liberals got in on the narrative of Labour screwing Australia over by spending too much and irresponsibly, so we have this massive deficit.
Yes.
Huge deficit, massive. Very much not mentioning the fact that we're doing very well in terms of debt in OECD countries recovering from the global financial crisis around the world. But we'll ignore that. We'll ignore the fact that there can be healthy debt, and instead we'll get into government on that, and they did. And their first budget was all about cutting down, tightening your belts, getting rid of Labour's mess, and we'll get that get that surplus within a year, as they promised. And then
how the fuck were they going to do? Jeez.
And then we arrive at this budget, and it's like, oh, what's that? Oh, that's a higher deficit, but is that that's double the deficit we had. But don't worry, it's not an emergency anymore. It's like, what the fuck? You know what they posted after Bill Shorten did his reply speech on their Facebook?
No, what would they post?
It was like 600,000? It was like the number, or 6,000 maybe, the amount Australia had to pay in interest during over the course of the half hour of Bill Shorten's speech. And it was like, you know why that that number's bigger than last year when you were managing it was like, this is what you've done.
Fucking hell.
Fucking hell. You can tell how frustrated I am because of how inarticulate I am, but it's we need we need some other members of the podcast who swing the other way to be on here. So
we need James.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say a name, just in case he didn't want to betray his political beliefs.
No, well, we've talked about this before.
Yeah,
I don't know exactly where James stands now, but if you honestly consider it, what the kind of work that James works in, and from what I understand, James is more interested in eventually just owning his own business, right?
Yeah.
So he should, if we're talking about rationalized thinking, he should vote Liberal like that. That's what they're making policies which appeal to him.
Yeah, but you shouldn't, because voting's not all about yourself, and there's poor people too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's true.
Yeah. Man, this has just been like a massive advertisement, hasn't it?
For what?
I don't know, for not for Labour, but just for not Liberal. Oh well.
Can the not Liberal Party sponsorship, please?
Not Liberal Party.
We should. I guess that's the tagline for today's podcast, right? Sockswat is not the Liberal Party today.
No, we're the not so good soy milk podcast. That's what we are. I mean, that's been the real groundbreaking discussion that we've had today. Let's be honest.
Absolutely. Actually, this can eventually get over to some other stuff, but apparently they've broadened the definition of the GST. So all Steam games are going to go up for by 10% for us.
Yeah, to online goods, which in all honesty, it makes sense.
Yeah,
but the thing is, overseas companies, they'll put prices up even though they're already up for no reason. So now that they're given a reason, they'll go up even more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it didn't make sense before that games cost more here.
Well, yeah, no. But I mean, especially for goods that aren't physical, or for that matter, honestly, I think there's a lot of consumer goods, basically anything that isn't necessary for us to survive, or normal commodities that we require to go about our daily lives, that maybe we should be encouraged to buy locally. But for goodness sake, it's not like we have some huge movie studio or game studio.
Mate, the Australian games industry, it's a big one. We made LA Noire 5 years ago or whatever it was.
Really?
Yeah, that was our game.
Huh.
And then the studio got shut down, but we'll just ignore that a little bit.
Oh, fucking hell. I think 2K Melbourne or something was involved with the creation of BioShock.
Yeah. I think I might have read that, yeah.
Well, you would know it because at one point you have to open up a fucking door by using the date of Australia Day.
Oh, really?
The most Australian fucking reference you could put in.
Was that in the original Bioshock?
In Bioshock 1, at one time, you pick up an audio diary, and it's this guy with a really exaggerated Australian accent. Now that I think about it, this points away from any Australian being involved with it. But like, yeah, you like, in order to get access to some like stash somewhere in somewhere later on, it's in the later levels of the game. Someone's locked the door with the date of Australia Day. It'd be so inconvenient for anyone who didn't live here, but like, I was like, fuck yeah, I'm going straight for that. But anyway, like, it's not like we have like a bustling industry for content creation, like music or movies, games. To be honest, television, we don't exactly make the best television here either.
I like some of our like hard news television a lot. Like the ABC does a fantastic job, I think.
Oh no, that's good. I'm talking about like entertainment.
Oh, entertainment, yeah.
Specifically entertainment. Like, of course, any of our domestically made content that's related to news is probably going to be better than international sources, because it's made either relevant to us, or like, it's not like there isn't smart people here, but like, there just isn't like big movie studios here, for example. That's kind of what I'm more leaning towards. There's also, it's not like we have a huge technology industry here either. It's not like we're making any good consumer goods like cameras or televisions and stuff like that, or mobile phones.
Yeah.
So like, to me, like, it's having a tax on things like that is kind of silly, because it's not like we're protecting any local industries.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, it makes sense from revenue, right? I mean, any new tax is... You know, apparently the carbon tax was actually making us quite a bit of money. It was like 6 billion a year.
Yeah,
which is
why not?
Not inconsiderate, but then many would argue that it would drive business out, and so there's less tax anyway.
Yeah.
But
yeah. And any tax you create, like, supposedly causes dead weight.
Yeah, but they'd be incorrect, because of the hyperglobalization thesis ignores the intransferability of certain types of capital, including big polluting industries such as mining.
Yeah.
Because you can't just take the mine with you so it's cheaper overseas. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
Man, today's... It's just been me venting the entire time. I've probably got some things wrong that someone's going to be pissed off about, but it's alright.
All 6 Ukrainians who are listening at the moment?
Yeah, all those Ukrainians that are really into Australian politics. Oh, man.
They probably... maybe they are. Australian politics, you know. Not quite as glamorous as American politics. Not a rock show.
Not a rock show, as Austin famously said last night. He's so right, though.
It's so true. Like, but I mean, even so, like, I remember there was a This Week Tonight
John Oliver
program with John Oliver, where he was talking about certain bills in their again, I don't understand any political systems, to be honest. I just haven't actually decided to try and understand them. He was talking about like how bills were being passed, and so I think it was something to do with net neutrality. When it was like named plainly, people like knew about it and wanted to get rid of it, and then it got like passed the next week or something, because they like tacked it onto another bill and gave it all some stupid, like, ridiculously generic name.
Yeah.
But like, it's that idea that like, even by comparison, when America's politics are rock star compared to ours, their politics are still boring as shit.
Yeah. I mean, everyone just loves characters, and that's why campaigns in America, like, they've worked it out quite well. I mean, because they depend so much more on like being a celebrity, because they not only have to convince people to vote for them, they have to convince people to vote at all. So they have to, I don't know, but rather than telling a narrative of legislation. They have to tell a narrative of what sort of person they are, and therefore what sort of country they want America to be.
Yeah. Well, I'm fairly sure we've probably talked about this before. If not, you and I have definitely probably talked about this. But what are your thoughts on whether or not the vote should be mandatory in Australia?
It should, of course, be mandatory. It should be mandatory everywhere. But
Yeah.
what do you think?
I don't know. I'm honestly leaning towards vote shouldn't be, because I don't know, it would actually. I guess it could be. It wouldn't be so problematic here because people are just used to it already. But like, it forces campaigners to not just slander the other vote, to not just slander the other party. So like, Liberal got in in 2013 by just not saying anything about what they're doing and just saying how much Labor's fucked up, right? But because everyone has to vote, right? And like, no one's really gonna. How many people are really going to think about it? So instead, they're just going to say, all right, I have to vote, and apparently Labor's not doing well, so I'm just going to vote Liberal. But if instead, if no one has to vote, then I would hope that it would force the parties to instead be advocating for themselves based on their own merit. Like, you would think that's what they'd do, but I don't understand what the effect might actually be.
Alright, I disagree with you for several reasons. First, like, empirical evidence, being America, as we were just discussing, doesn't have mandatory voting. But in the Obama-Romney campaign, Obama was just called a socialist over and over again, because that's a dirty word in America. It's kind of a dirty word here, but... So it didn't stop the slurring, it didn't stop... It didn't make the campaign any more true. It was a rock show. It was about a story being told, and Obama told one of hope, so he got in. And that's just how it worked. I don't think it really changed how they campaigned. I'm sure it would if it changed, like, now. But I'm not sure if it was any better than what happens here. And secondly, the most important reason for having a mandatory vote is it means people across all social classes, all social groups have to vote and have to have their voice heard. It means a single mother who's really not well off at all, it means she has to go vote rather than taking another shift, and her employer has to let her do that.
Yeah.
And it means that everyone is necessarily represented.
Yes. No, well, on that, I certainly agree. Yeah, that makes much more sense to say that. Yeah. No, I agree.
Alright, I've swayed Ariel. Now I would just have to sway America.
Baby steps, man.
Baby steps.
You've convinced half the podcast today. Can you convince half of America?
Yeah, I mean, I just scale my argument, right? And then that's how it works.
Obviously. In a linear progression as well.
Yeah. So, there you go. One more problem down.
One more problem down, another beer to go. But okay, speaking momentarily on games before, there was a Smite game between two of our top tier YouTubers.
Yeah.
That came out last night.
Yeah, so we had Funhouse playing Achievement Hunter, both Rooster Teeth companies.
Or both. Is I don't think Funhouse is actually under Rooster Teeth. I think it might be under Full Screen.
Oh, they're a Rooster Teeth company.
They are Rooster Teeth?
Well, they on their YouTube and on their Reddit it says we're a Rooster Teeth thing. So
okay. No, that's right. Rooster Teeth. Yeah, Rooster Teeth bought them, and then they're all under Full Screen.
Yeah,
anyway.
they're all on. Anyway. Yeah, so they played each other in Smite, and Funhouse got destroyed.
They didn't get too destroyed. To be fair, like it got to the snowball point, but when I've seen other games of Smite, the snowball point is so much more apparent and so much earlier.
Yeah.
I honestly felt they held on for a bit longer.
Yeah, maybe, because I've never watched Smite in my life. It's those sort of games don't interest me at all.
No,
but it's only because these people were playing it and they're hilarious that I watched it.
Oh yeah,
But yeah, in the first game they got pretty crushed because they.
Yeah.
The second one was they got to a point where they were like, "Oh my god, we could actually win," but then they didn't. So,
Yeah.
do you want to talk about why they lost?
Well, I watched the apparently, like, they said to watch the Funhouse video first, and I did go watch the Funhouse video first because, like, to be honest, the Funhouse video is 20 minutes long and has people who I enjoy more over the 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And the Rooster Teeth video is 40 minutes long, and while I generally enjoy them as much, they don't fucking cut out the boring stuff.
They don't.
No.
Funhouse is so much more active in their editing, and that's what makes their content so much better, in my opinion.
It is. Oh, it is. Fucking editing makes everything. We've talked about fucking Star Wars before and how that was saved by editing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like, apparently, you know, you've got the normal 5 from, I think, everyone but except for Bruce were playing for Funhouse,
Yeah.
and then you had the 5.
Oh, Matt Peake wasn't playing. Can't forget about Matt Peake.
Ah, true. True, you shouldn't. Matt seems like such a cool guy.
He is.
He seems very cool. But, so, on the Rooster Teeth side, they had their 5, rest in pieces, Ray. And Gavin was swapped out with Caleb. Because Gavin is just shit. And I thought, well, you know, fair enough. Like, they've still got Jeff and Michael to worry. Still got Jeff to worry about because he always seems to be the weak link, other than Gavin. So I'm like, all right, I trust Funhouse could possibly win this, and yeah, to be honest, I wanted Funhouse to win. And then they got trashed, and at one point, I think Bruce in the middle of the video when they're opening up the Skype chat after losing the first game, Bruce has said, "Oh, it's because we don't swap out all of our people." And it's at that point I started thinking, are they jokingly accusing Rooster Teeth of like not actually playing the game? They just got other people to play. And then as the video kept on going, I started thinking, hang on, why is Gavin getting kills? I realize now that's because they actually said that Caleb was playing for him.
Yeah, but why
Jeff was getting kills.
Why is Michael getting fucking multi-kills all over the place?
Yeah, I was one. Yeah. That was like seemed a little strange to me. Why Michael was getting like 9 kills in the first match. And so it turns out that Jeff and Michael had gone around all the Rooster Teeth offices and gotten all the people who actually play Smite to play for them and open up shop. But it was. What was so funny is that they were really worried during the first, like the start of the first game, that Funhouse were actually going to beat their fake team, which was kind of funny. Yeah. It would have been hilarious if they got beaten.
That would have been great.
It would have been fucking brilliant. But yeah,
what? Yeah, so that was really funny. What was interesting though is the amount of people that got pissed off at them for it.
Yeah,
it's like seriously, like their whole medium is comedy. They just happen to do it through games. At least that's how I see both channels.
Oh, no, that's absolutely true. I don't really care much about the games.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm more interested in them.
Yeah, like Open House is it's probably my favourite show on Open House and Dude Soup, but my favourite shows on the Funhouse channel. I think lots of people like Demo Disc as well.
Demo Disc is pretty good when they find a good game.
It's pretty good. Or they play porn flash games. That's pretty good as well. But,
yeah.
But, like, they're doing a joke. It's a bit, and it was hilarious. And people are like, oh, well, it wasn't a fair competition. No shit, that's the joke. It's like, fucking hell. I mean, yeah, I would like to see them, like, actually play one-on-one. And I would kind of... Maybe it's too many voices, but it would be cool if they had, like, them interacting throughout the match as well. But I don't know how that would work.
No, 10 people is a bit too much.
Yeah. As we discovered with podcast 40, even having 8 people was pretty full on.
Yeah. That being said, number 50, I think we're going to end up with a lot of people on that. Maybe we won't. Maybe we will. Yeah, we'll find out.
Yeah, we'll work it out.
We'll have a better setup for that and a more centralized like method because I think we're gonna be playing like board games in that. But yeah, anyway, I was a little annoyed that they weren't facing one like actually playing against each other, but that's because I just wanted Funhouse to win.
Yeah, no, fair enough. You're pissed off for the right reasons.
Yeah, I didn't exactly see too many people actually butthurt, like as in actually butthurt, just like enough that people could accuse them of being butthurt, but not like actually butthurt.
There was like, it wasn't outrageous. I'm probably blowing the outrage out of proportion, but there were some people in the Funhouse subreddit that were quite adamant in their discontent.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It was more that like I would have enjoyed it more if maybe if it was just more like all out rapage. But like again, because I don't play Smite, I didn't exactly understand what the fuck was going on.
Yeah, maybe that was all out rapage. Who knows?
Well, I didn't think the first game was as bad because I've seen worse games played. Especially when like again, I don't think John Reisinger and all the other guys are like amazing at Smite, but like when it comes to those fucking games, like if you don't know how to play them, you are fucked.
Yeah,
you are fucked. And I mean, like especially when it comes further to multiplayer games, like I'm fucked. Like no matter what game you put me in multiplayer, and I really can't fucking play it.
Oh yeah, you're pretty good at Halo though. I was being sarcastic. It's okay.
Yeah. Look!
Oh, you got that time at your place when it was Austin and I stayed over after a podcast, and we got up the next day and Liam came over and we were playing. You got so frustrated. It was hilarious. You were so angry.
At one point we were playing like Halo 1 or 2. I was like, and I was like, can we do like a custom game or something? I think I'm gonna cry.
Yeah, you just, I could tell because when you're not actually angry, you like you shout and scream and do your funny stuff. But this time you just went quiet. You were like, I do not want to be here right now. It was so funny.
Yeah, I do that sometimes. That's spiteful angry. More Smiteful angry.
Oh, we're not playing Smite. It's not going to happen.
No. Watching that video though made me kind of want to play it.
Yeah, that happens with like every video I watch though. I'm like, oh, that game doesn't actually look too bad.
Yeah, like when what game were they playing on? Were Funhouse playing on demo disc? I think they played Undying.
Yeah, they just ordered it too.
Yeah, that actually looks good, and I want to play it.
That looks like fun.
Like hyper gory 90s games.
Yeah.
Like there's a cool like one that some studio's making called Strave, and it's like in the style of like it looks like Quake 2, and it's just like hyper gory and like just fucking crazy. You should search it up because it looks freaking like ridiculous.
I will.
But yeah, it like I reckon like more if they're gonna do like retro games, like we can't just keep on making fucking 8-bit side scrollers. We need to make more games that aren't from that fucking era of games.
But you need to give me my 8-bit art. Where's that gonna come from? I don't know.
No.
People have this really weird euphoric recall of games they played in their youth, where they're like, oh my god, they were so much better than they were at the moment. But you go back and play them, it's like, holy shit, not only graphics, but design has evolved so much.
Oh yeah. Like if you look at a lot of, especially like I think like Atari 2600 games, I think that's the right system. Basically, like really back in the 8-bit era, like you could tell a lot of these things were underdeveloped and really fucking short too. Like, I guess it's because the design teams were like one person.
Yeah.
I think I know that was, at least E.T. was.
Oh, E.T. Man, that's a game and a half.
Or more like a game and a half times 10 to the power of -6.
Oh, got him.
Yeah. Boys, their face is red.
But even going back like 12 years, like I played through Final Fantasy X multiple times. My most recent playthrough being 2 summers ago. So the summer between high school and university.
Yeah. Fucking hell.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. It's insane. But yeah, I played through it then and I was like, man, the pacing in this game is really off at some points in time. Like,
yeah.
And that's something that, like, but they were happy with it because it was a good game and it was compelling. But nowadays, like, people know how to do compelling. It's like those tiny bits of design that makes a game like competitive in like critical reviews and that sort of thing.
Yeah. That being said, like, Halo was 15 years ago.
That's true. Yeah.
And Doom. Like,
And they're still fun. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm not saying that like games weren't fun, but I'm saying to say
guess-
the game industry hasn't come anywhere, or even if it's gone backwards, is really dumb. I think.
really, I guess as people understand a bit more of the science behind games now, like, I guess it might be strange to think, but like, they were probably still figuring games out in the 90s on like how to actually design them, and I guess not how to, but what do you need to design for in a video game? Like, you've seen the Ego Raptor video about, I think, Mega Man X or something,
Yeah, I think
where
I
he
have.
just like, he talks about just like how the game just teaches you how to play it without actually giving you any text, without giving you any directions. It just like, it like, it's intuitively teaching you,
Yeah.
which I think is
voice
amazing.
crack.
And but
Turns out I'm still 16.
turns out I look 16.
No, you don't. You don't look 16.
I look 16. I can't grow a beard.
Oh, darling. I shaved mine.
Oh
Because going to Canberra, I had to suit up, so I couldn't look too scruffy, so I shaved mine off.
shit! Hang on, I'm gonna go look at this image. Good thing I've got Facebook still loaded up. Where are you? Your name is.
Yeah. I think I'm tagged in some photos.
Yes.
From Anthony. Posted a photo with the Shadow Assistant Treasurer Andrew Lee.
What the fuck? Yeah, it's really strange to look at you without.
Yeah, I've
Any
had it
beard.
for like 4 months now, the beard, but it's gone.
Yeah. It gone now.
Yeah. Probably keep it off for a while and then grow it back. But,
Yeah. No, fair enough. Fair enough.
gotta mix things up.
Yeah, man. You know, got to shave it off every now and then.
Yeah, man.
Shave it back to grow it better.
That's it.
Whenever I say like I'm moderately annoyed with my hair, Lazelle's like, just shave it off, start again.
Yeah. Oh god, I can't imagine you with no hair. That's so fucking weird.
It's probably a difference between like, oh well, no, I was gonna say like the same difference between Billy Corgan with and without hair, but he seemed to like look good with both.
Yeah. I'm
No,
not so
that-
sure.
No, that's gonna look very strange. Hang on, let's skinny Asian man. Skinny bald Asian man.
Skinny bald Asian man.
Bald.
It would be great if your search just came up with a photoshopped image of you already done. That would be my favorite thing in the world.
Yeah.
Just-
What the fuck? There is. Oh.
What?
Oh, what the. What the fuck?
Did you find porn,
What?
Ariel?
What the fuck? Like, not even a page and a half down, there is just porn. And
Mate, what are
there
you
is
doing with
there is
Safe
a
Search
lot
on?
of it. Jesus, it like now like 2 pages down, it's only porn. That's it. Safe search is going back on. Oh, and then it didn't match any image results when I turned on safe search.
Any image results?
There's nothing.
Nothing. Okay, turns out skinny bald Asian men aren't safe. Watch out.
Oh wow. Wow.
That's hilarious. Oh my god.
Fucking like. Did you search it up?
No. I'm on my
fuck?
dad's computer. I'm on that.
Oh, what the fuck? Wow, like I didn't expect that to happen. That was a little weird. Like at first it was just like random guys like holding their dicks and then like a little bit of gay porn, then it just like went back to like straight hardcore porn.
Good fun.
Yeah, I know. Freaking I do it every day.
Yeah.
Every day, like, wow, you know this. All right, you know, like sometimes, if you're ever gonna look up porn, right, you feel kind of guilty just by like searching it up straight away. So you try to type in something obscure, hoping that it'll just come up.
Yeah.
like, that never works, right?
No,
But
it doesn't.
instead, when I try to search up something serious, that comes up. Like, skinny, bald Asian man, and it just, like, equates to, like... It wasn't even Asian porn. It was just normal porn.
So it wasn't even like the wow. How's that
Like,
work?
I don't know.
Were you using Google?
I was using Google.
Yeah. Man, that's weird.
Let's try Bing.
No, Bing will just surely
Bing is gonna be worse.
Yeah, because that's what people use for porn. Is Bing.
Yeah, I know. All right. You know this has become a true Sock Squad podcast when we start doing this.
Been watching too much Funhouse. Now we're just looking up adult images instead of actually doing content.
Believe it or not, but there is less porn on Bing
That's so
when
weird.
I search this up.
Man.
It's like Bing and Google have like changed places. That being said, the images here are just as creepy. And there is a distinct lack of bald men. In fact, there is no bald man. Robert Downey Jr. is coming up
What
for some reason.
What sort of tags are people using?
I don't know. I don't understand this.
People need to check their metadata, man. Check
I know.
check their metadata privilege. They're screwing up
Man.
people's searches.
This is Tony Abbott helping me out here, man. He's getting people to correctly record their metadata.
Yeah. Do you know George Brandis?
No.
He's the Attorney General in the Senate. He's the one that kind of spearheaded data retention in the Senate. Him and Eric, I think it's Eric Abetz, the coalition's leaders in the Senate in the upper house. And so he argued for all this stuff, and he was the one that wanted to repeal the Racial Discrimination Act and all that good stuff. But we're at the Kingston Hotel in Canberra, and he was just there cooking a steak like a meter away from me, because it was like a cook your own meat restaurant.
Yeah.
And the first, because we went to the Kingston Hotel both nights, the first night there were more Labour MPs there than there were like student unity people, which was us.
Right.
It's pretty crazy. Like, it seemed to be the hot spot to go.
Yeah. How many people were up there? Were you like in like working with, not just people who you went up with, but who else was there from like the general people you were involved with?
The general people were involved with? Well, so from like Victorian Student Unity, or Young Labour, whatever you want to call it, there were probably like 20, or maybe a bit more, 24 people. And then we met with some of the Canberra Young Labour people, and there were only a few of them. And that being said, only like 5 people in that Young Labour group were from RMIT.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so then there were people from Deakin, from La Trobe, from VU. Is that it? There's probably others that are missing.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, it was good. Made some new friends. Got stupidly drunk on the second night because we didn't have anything. All we were doing the next day was driving home. But that was good fun. Ended up slow dancing with someone.
Slow dance? Oh.
Yeah. I don't know. Unfortunately, this all took place like within our rooms, so I didn't make a fool of myself in front of the entirety of Canberra. But got to think of my future career there. You know, Prime Minister.
Oh.
Prime Minister. Oh, you have to edit that out.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
all right.
That's all right. 73 minutes.
Prime Minister bleep. That's gonna sound funny. What did they say? Prime Minister N-word. That was the...
I would prefer to say like President N-word.
Yeah. Well, we already have that, right?
Oh. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, fuck, that's true.
Yeah.
But I mean, no, that'd be Corey in the house.
Corey in the house. Quality.
Or is he? Wait, is he African American Corey in the house, or is he like?
Yeah, haven't you, mate? You're not up to your second playthrough of that game yet, are you?
No new game plus for me.
Mate, it's got huge replayability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hang on, let me have a look at a screenshot, because all I've seen is the all I've seen is the cover art, right?
Yeah. Which has an African American boy on the front.
Oh, well, I wasn't looking at it closely. What? GameStop rated at 9.3 out of 10.
I just love it.
Fucking hell, looking at like the 3D images of someone's made like character bios for everything, like oh gosh. Okay. Fucking Corey
The
in
actual
house.
TV show only lasted a year and a half, and it got the same video game.
Really?
Yeah. I just looked it up on Wikipedia, because we're podcasting and that's what we do.
That is what we do, because well, as a podcast on the internet, we do like to keep our ties strong with that same internet. Okay. What? I know why. That's so weird. What Disney Channel shows weird me out. Like, I don't understand them.
Yeah. My sister used to watch Hannah Montana all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched the character development.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And it didn't quite reach where Miley's at now. I'll tell you that much.
Wait, it didn't.
You know, Hannah Montana is Miley Cyrus.
Oh right, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it didn't quite get to that point on the show. That took place in reality.
Yes. Well, you know, realistically, every girl has to have her bad girl stages.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't see why she cops more flack than other people. I think it's because she once had that really clean Disney princess image. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think like anyone cops a lot of flack for doing something which appears attention seeking.
Yeah.
Even though they all do it, for anyone who does something that's particularly attention seeking and then actually gets our attention,
Yeah, I guess so.
I guess it just goes against like how a lot of people tend to think that that like being self-effacing is better or more genuine. Like, I'd like to think that, but you know, what do I know?
What do you know, Ariel? You should go unfreeze Walt Disney, so so you can discuss Hannah Montana with him. That would be a conversation and a half. It's like, what the fuck's happened to my company?
Yeah. Why are we making movies about spaceships? Why? And superheroes.
Yeah.
What did Disney do before like ripping off every like fairy tale ever?
Oh, well, they had like Mickey Mouse and stuff. Made their own things. I don't know what they did first. I don't know. I'll tell you what's a good idea. Googling it, because we're doing a podcast and that's what we do. So much good content.
Why would we never do that? I remember I saw something interesting on Reddit the other day. Don't you mean? Yeah.
You saw something interesting on Reddit? No way.
There's always so much fun to be had on Reddit.
The first one was Alice's Wonderland, and it was a child actress, so they made like a silent film.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
And there you go. Interacting with animated characters.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
And then once there was sound, there was Mickey Mouse. And then in 1934 to 45, there was Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. There you go.
Yes. Yes.
So
Interesting.
this has been a podcast.
Fucking hell. Soy milk, the budget, which seemed to be going well for a while, solving every global problem ever, whatever the fuck else there was, and now this.
Yeah. Alright, so this episode of the Sock Squad podcast has been sponsored by Corey in the House. It's a great game.
Yeah.
It goes really well with the Mountain Dew and Doritos, which is also sponsoring us.
Oh yes.
Yes, make sure.
Do the Jew.
Make sure you buy it so you can redeem it for XP in Corey in the house.
You know what? Actually, something did happen. I finished reading Dune.
Oh yeah, I haven't read that yet, even though I'm a massive science fiction fan, so I should do that.
Well, it's good. It's a little crazy to read, but it's good.
Okay, how many books in the?
I don't know. I've just read the first one.
Oh, you just read the first one. Okay.
Yeah, I've read the first one. There's a lot apparently.
Yeah, I know.
there's
Luca quite likes them. One of our friends. He was very into them for a while, I think.
Yeah. Well, I certainly enjoyed it. The only thing I found a little strange is like like at some points he skips over huge events that have happened. But to be fair, I guess the reason I think that way is because I watched the film first.
Yeah.
Which also doesn't do it justice, but also like obviously because the way you tell a story in a film is going to be different. Like the way they do like the narrative style like in the movie is much more like third person, omnipotent.
Omniscient.
Whereas yeah.
I'm not sure the third person is all powerful. But
wouldn't that be strange? Third person omniscient. Whereas the book is like it's like this it's like third person subjective.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. And so it's a little strange reading it, but like it was still good. It was pretty damn crazy.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
cool. I know I think they turned it into a real-time strategy game as well.
Really?
Yeah, Gene. I remember in primary school playing it at a friend's house. It's quite an old one. Around
I think it's like
around the original StarCraft area.
really interesting.
Yeah.
I think it was also a like an adventure game,
Oh,
like
okay.
a point and click adventure game. But I remember that game as well actually had some like strategy element to it,
Okay.
which is interesting. Well, the Kwisatz Haderach, ultimate in fucking everything. That's the thing, and it's no real giveaway because like the way they tell the story, the whole time where it's kind of going, but like for goodness sake, the main character just becomes like a fucking god. Like it's just like, how is he doing this shit? It's pretty crazy.
Maybe it wasn't. I'm like searching for the real-time strategy game at the moment.
It doesn't. I don't think it really makes sense for it to be a strategy
But it was
game.
like because there's like a lot of resource mining and stuff in the.
Oh, that's
in the book,
true. Like
isn't it? I thought that.
you're mining the spice, but like, I know that's a yeah. It's.
Oh yes,
it's,
I found it.
oh yeah.
It was It was called Dune 2.
June 2.
Dune 2, and it was on Amiga, MS-DOS,
Oh, for fuck's sake! Stop reading.
RISC-DOS, and Sega Genesis / Mega Drive. There you go. We're
Right.
educating people because the government's still making $80 billion in cuts to health and education, so it now falls to us, the private sector. Well, we've come full circle.
So it was on MS-DOS, Amiga, Mega Drive, Genesis, and RISC OS.
RISC OS. I don't
What
know
the
what
fuck
that
is that?
Well, let's follow the trail. Let's read some more Wikipedia.
There's no link.
Oh.
Hang on. Maybe there's a link here. I want to find out what RISC OS is. Anyway, RISC OS. That's really weird.
It's a computer operating system originally designed by Acorn Computers. There you go.
Wow. Okay, it has a release 20 days ago.
What?
Like they're still making it.
Oh.
That's weird.
Yeah, latest release 25th of April 2015.
Wow. I guess we forget like how much like how many actually like different operating systems there are out there.
I guess so.
Well, that's kind of interesting.
So
Acorn.
there's another. Yeah, because I always just assumed there was Mac Windows and
Linux.
then all the derivatives of Linux.
Oh yeah, or Unix.
Oh yeah. Is Linux a derivative of Unix or something?
I think so because whenever I look at whenever you actually look where Mac OS X comes from, that's actually from Unix.
Okay.
And so I thought, all right, surely then Linux must be derived from that. But either way, Unix and Linux are very they're very related.
Okay.
They've also, isn't there a Google OS?
Yeah, because they've just today they released two $200 Chromebooks, I think.
Huh.
Yeah, because my understanding of that operating system is it's entirely web-based. It's basically not functional or not very functional at all if you don't have an internet connection.
Yeah.
And you just use Google's cloud software, Google Drive,
Right.
to do all your documents, like your presentations, your spreadsheets, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that'll be a cool thing when they get things like cloud computing going. But
Yeah.
you need actual internet infrastructure for that to work. Hint, Tony.
Tony plus.
I mean, that kind of thing, that would put a huge hole in the monopolies that computer companies have at the moment.
Yeah.
I mean, or maybe not. Instead, it would make them even more powerful because you can instead just rent computing power from them.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Anyway, learnt so much today. Learnt a lot, solved a lot.
We didn't drink a lot, surprisingly.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll do it tonight.
Tonight, when we record podcast number 47, 3 podcasts in a 24-hour period.
Well, this is podcast 47.
Oh, 48, whatever we're up to. I'll lose track because we're making so much content for the people.
Yes, absolutely. No, I'm catching up with some workmates tonight.
Oh, cool.
I'm gonna have some bevs then.
Okay.
A little bit of bev now, a little bit of bev later.
Get into it.
What we do. Anyway, I think we might wrap this one up to go.
Yes, I think we should.
I think we've properly run out of topics. I mean, we could go on. We could find something stupid to talk about.
We always find something to stupid about. We always find something. It's probably more accurate than talk, to be honest. We always find something to stupid about.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be honest, it's not much different to Funhouse. Just they actually have people who listen to them.
We'll get there.
We can get there. Ukraine plus.
Ukraine. Spy.
Can you do a DDoS attack? But instead, it's you just get all your slave computers to listen to the podcast, to force the users to listen to the podcast.
That might be more effective than their actual physical resistance.
So how do we stop Putin from invading?
That's next podcast. We've provided too many solutions already.
No, we just provided the solution to stopping that, and that is make the entire Russian military listen to the podcast.
Ah, true. Distract them, because our content is so good.
I was gonna say, destroy their brain cells with audio waves.
True.
Obviously we produce those audio waves on the perfect frequency because I mean that's just what our podcast does.
Yeah, I mean it's just the quality of our voices that just carries that across.
Yes. But
anyway, this has been a podcast. You can find us on iTunes. That's the best place.
Yes.
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We have a website that no one visits, so please visit our website. You can post things on it, can you?
No. Basically, the website just gives you all the links to everywhere else.
We don't want your criticism because we're perfect already. So please.
No, but you can use our website to get to the places to criticize us.
Oh, okay. It's a portal.
It's a portal.
It's a portal.
Now you're thinking.
We all have personal Facebooks if you want to hunt us down. But please don't.
Please don't. I intend to have future employment opportunities.
All right. Ariel, say goodbye.
Thank you very much for listening, my dear people. Thank you and good night.
Thank you. Goodbye.